Salutations, utopians. Hope all is well in your world. I've been um I've been meaning to get this video off for a while, and I think everything is perfect right now. As you all know, I have a presence online on Twitter where I do more of my sports takes, and I know like this is a channel, and people create every day. Uh, I try to I try to cover things that are, not so common or a little more unorthodox and unique. And I think right now is the perfect time to address one thing. So on Twitter, I've been making some takes, and apparently somebody, and I don't think it's a person, I don't think it's a fan, I think it's someone higher than that, reported my page. And yesterday I was reading the terms of service, and bear with me, this all leads to a bigger point. Um, and I know it's about NBA takes because that's what I've been talking about more lately, because that's the league that needs the most help, quite frankly. WNBA is ascending, NFL is always going to be the NFL, but the NBA is in a bad place. And people keep saying it. They're making more money than ever, but there's a big problem from the top down. And we keep talking about the commissioner, but the media has a big problem. The media is a joke. I'm just being honest. You know what I'm saying? And I think, it's there's people who are offended, and someone reported my thing, and I had a false label, and I was reading the terms and which ways you can get, what are some of the things, and you have to either be false or misleading, which is impossible. I just highlight whatever's being spoken on, and everyone knows I have no reason to. I'm the purest of the pure, actually, because I actually just give real takes. I'm a real fan. I don't go out here chasing. I know who's going to be spoken about. Listen, I'm in the projection business, so projecting business. That's my skill set. That's my gift. It's not something you can definitely study, but it has to just be in you. It's not on you. And so, I'm looking at stuff, man, and uh, I guess what it takes to get flagged is you have to have either something offensive or misleading. But I don't curse at nobody. I've never used any slurs. In fact, there's people on there posting porn, using vulgarity, and don't get flagged. Literally on my mental health page, I got someone who's posting craziness, and they're still going. So someone made a false thing, and then when I go to try to get an understanding, they want to send me to the email. They want to ignore all my receipts, and so it's definitely someone in the NBA. But this is why they're sorry. This is why they're sorry, because case in point, we have one of the greatest draft classes ever, and all they want to do is chase headlines like IG models talking about Bronny and the nepotism. And the second best headline for them was, "Oh, uh, Alex Sarr doesn't want to be the number one pick." There's all this talent. Now, I've watched this. I've watched the NBA all my life. I've watched guys like Anthony Bennett get hyped to the moon. Kwame Brown had a respectable NBA career, and they made him out to look like a bust because the way they anointed him. Jordan picked him. He's 6'11". Oh my God, he's got nimble feet. I remember the scouting report like it was yesterday. I do this. You understand me? So when I'm telling you, like, I remember specifically. And it was interesting because who's the other guy? Not Wojnarowski, but the guy who's close to LeBron, heavy set dude. Um, well, he basically admitted on the record they're struggling right now. But what I'm trying to say is it starts with the media. You know what I mean? I remember when Bronny got his contract extension, no one even pointed out it was the highest paid contract for a second round pick. It's these little nuances that let you know that these guys are full and they don't care. And it trickles into everything. Now, yesterday they announced they're going to do some NBA 2K like format during the games, because the youth that you were supposed to groom, you were too busy feeding them junk food, and now their minds can't process real basketball, and you got to play this arcade basketball, shoot the three, You didn't prepare the next generation. And then on TV, you didn't bring the second wave properly. LeBron is closer to retirement when you're not showcasing Pablo Banchero. You're not showcasing Shea Gilgeous the way you should. You're not showcasing these up and coming next talents because enough, getting them enough exposure to really segue when LeBron, who KD today, showing his age, he's out again this time with some kind of heel issue and all that. He's 7 feet tall. That's what happens. Lower extremity issues as they age. It's remarkable he even made it this far if you remember his injury past. But it's a lack of passion. And so I want to point out something very interesting that I read the other day. From this topic is about the integration of NBA Europe and the battle that's happening. As you all know, there was a big time TV deal the NBA has been building up for. They finally got it. Okay, we're talking crazy money. You know what I mean, for them. And so, give me 1 second. I want to pull up this NBA Europe quote from the coach after the game. And I should have had it ready. Apologies. Because you know this is a big problem that's coming. And after a game, a very reputable coach by the name of Ergin Ataman stated it was a debate about the Boston Celtics calling themselves world champs, but they haven't played overseas. And the quote raised eyebrows because maybe they will invite, after the game, he said, maybe they will invite us to the NBA. Careful, EuroLeague. The quote made by Panathinaikos coach, who I just stated, Ergin Ataman, after the win over, they won. He didn't say this out of bitter or spite. After a win, Maccabi Tel Aviv, very historic European team. I've watched a lot of their prospects over the years, being a Knicks fan, a hopeful Knicks fan. As usual, Ottomanism. He coaches as an NBA. He's and the coach has prospects now. Kendrick Nunn is over there as we speak, who's thriving. You know, EuroLeague favors a lot of young players, and there's video footage of Brad Stevens over in NBA Europe, and you know, there's what's going on right now is you see in the NBA how desperate they are. People don't realize they keep sending players and bringing players from overseas, hoping to attract the audience. The Kings paid a guy overseas. He just got bought out and is going back, but he got a 3-year, $20 million with no sign of proof that he would translate, because they're trying to convert market Kevin Porter Jr. getting priority on the Clippers because he played in Greece and he played outstanding, and so they think that, oh, well, maybe you know that audience can come over here. And they're so desperate because obviously the ratings are down. So this integration, oh, we're going to draft 3 prospects in the top 10. And we're going to give Rudy Gobert depoy 4 times. You know, when there's no chance in hell. Like, he's not even better than Brook Lopez at protecting the rim. Don't get me wrong. When he's anchored some teams that have definitely been a factor. I mean, anytime you get first place in wins in the season, which is what he had in Utah, that says something. And then the Wolves became first place. So I get it. They're propping him up. But they do not compare. Okay? And it was funny because even during the draft, The Athletic put out a report that they had to use Bronny's likeness on the flyers to promote Vegas Summer League. So it's like there's no crossover appeal. But now what the NBA is doing is talking with NBA Europe, who have their own money, mind you. They're also out there able to pay. And whatever's the differential, the advantage they have is the cost of living. NBA thinks they're going to go over there now and try to start a league. That's the proposition. And NBA Europe is hesitant because the NBA is not quality first. It's business first. And we see what that's led them. Great, you got a lot of money. You're losing viewers. And so that's why they're taking all these streaming deals, but you're isolating viewership. I don't think it's as bad as it's being insinuated because the viewership is streaming too. There's people still streaming. So it's not like people are not watching it. But you know, this is a big problem, right? And I'm doing this because the other day a post went viral where people were like, the NBA needs to be very careful. Hockey will take its place one day in 20 years, 50 years. NBA will be only liked by a small niche. And this is why I'm always being critical, talking about attendance, talking about what can be done, because I'm seeing it in firsthand. I still play 2K from time to time. I see how kids don't even know how to play point guard. The AAU circuit is screwed. There's all the buddy system that everyone's complaining about. You know, you got NBA players now who, it's not just the players who are overseas, because the number one all-time scorer now, as of last year, Mike James stated, you got to either stand in the corner and dump real high. You hear these guys watering it down, bigging up the EuroLeague, not to mention the passion of the crowds. Remember, Jokic stated, is this pressure for you? He's like, bro, I'm from, and he told them, and if you go look at the footage online, the way they celebrate over there is on a different level. It's not about hoops. It's about the pride and tradition. It's college on steroids, right? And so, the streaming deal brings a bunch of money. They want to take some of that money and go overseas. And Euro's like, we don't know. Well, what happens if Euro doesn't take their money? That's a big thing they need to think about. Then because now if I'm the NBA, it's like, all right, so what do we do? If we sign a player, because here's the thing, if you still don't think it's forced after the aforementioned everything I listed, why are they, instead of, if the NBA players are so unpolished, why don't you just go get 4-year players then? Why aren't you just drafting 4-year players? If the quality's so bad, why aren't you going after guys who've played 4 years then? Like in a cycle thing. Like, the NBA had a bunch of young high schoolers who were fun, athletic, exciting, but they were also straight from high school, I'm saying. But they're also, unpolished. And they're like, we got too many of those. We got to slow down. Let's put an age limit. It went from 3 to 2 to 1. And now it's just 1. But there's people there's people who have wiggled through the exception. And so, there's a couple of things that can change, though. There's a couple of things that can help. They need to shorten the season. I think they need to go down to 65. And I heard Nick Wright say, well, what about the records? You can't mess up the records. No records is going to be ruined because LeBron has already broken all the major statistical categories. There's never going to be another one like that again. You know what I mean? There's not going to be. Wemby's not that. We already seen. He's 7'4". There's no way that he's going to be around 20 years and not have any foot problems, nothing. I'm not wishing it on him, but let's just be candid. Okay, and so bring it down. What's the irony is they say you got to play 65 games to win an award. That's how many games should be in a season, 65. Let the Emiratis Cup, which has been very nice. I like it. It's very entertaining. It's creating incentives for players to play, which is crazy. You have to incentivize all-star games in the regular season, but you do. And because the players see that the money that was being passed down from the TV streaming deal, right? But you got players who are saying now the NBA is losing leverage by the second. Dennis Smith Jr. just recently said, look, I don't want to sit around and wait for a job. I'd rather go to Euro. They're going to have to start putting something similar to, to corporate 500 companies where they go 3 years non-compete. If you played in the NBA, you can't go play overseas. They're going to have to start doing stuff like that because or Euro players are going to have to be like, well, you're not going overseas. If they turn down this deal to collaborate, okay, because they want to get into France badly. France is the most diverse country in Europe, and they want to get in that market so bad, and they think that'll bring the extra eyes. The sports betting thing is a gift and a curse for them. Obviously, let's not act like and pretend. We all know that it definitely plays a part in some of this, the prop betting and what players will do tonight and all that stuff. And so you shorten the season so there's not as many injuries, and then you're able to at least, the fans don't got to worry about it. The season's not elongated. Every game is game 7. And then you can, 82, you can get lost. You know what I mean? But if you make the preseason the Emiratis Cup, you make the regular season 65 games, you space it out too. That's the other thing to prevent all these injuries is that no game. That way you only have 2-3 games on at a time. Why would you have 5, 6, 7 games at a time? NBA app is crashing simultaneously because it can't keep up with the thing. You're charging people $24. It's ran like a rinky-dink mom and pop app. The NBA store app. I pay $25 a month to watch these games, and the app is constantly crashing. So that's what I think honestly. But this trying to trying to act like nothing's wrong, or this forced um, effort to be overseas to try to bring more eyes. That's not how you approach this, to be honest with you. The way you do it is you uphold the standard, which is how the NFL does it. We'll go over there and have some fun games. You could even put the All-Star game overseas, but ultimately trying to get in bed with the comp as opposed to like challenging them and reminding them this is why we're the number one league in the world is the problem. They need to reintegrate the pipeline between the pros and college. Get the college game back. Get the fundamentals back. You know what I mean? Because G League, people want to talk about the G League. G League is once you've been in the once you get picked up by a team. There's a gap even in the G League. G League quality is not the same as college. Because college there's actual structures and format and tradition. They're still playing position basketball. They should be turning more into college than they are overseas. Keep the tradition of how it is. This is what I mean when I say Silver is too busy trying to make the most money to, I guess, to make his own mark because David Stern, but he should be following the compass that Stern created for this team, for this league. You know what I mean? Not trying to reinvent the wheel all the time. I like the Emiratis Cup, but you know, this concept of shifting the league over there, I thought it was a good idea, but once you realize what it's really going on, it's just going to further mix up and slow down the art of the game. College is to learn the game. College is to learn the game. The G League is once you get to the NBA, because you got guys who are playing for a contract. I remember Caruso said it. You got guys training to be CEOs in the G League when they're there to be the janitor. And so that's why college is great, because you're going to find yourself. Now, obviously, there's not every player isn't cut out to be in college. Some guys should have been, you know, some guys should have been in the pros instead of college. Don't get me wrong. Miles Turner comes to mind right away. But for every Miles Turner, there's a bunch of dudes like, damn, you should have just stayed 4 years. I look at Cody Williams and I'm like, you know, I don't know what his thing, but he could have. I don't know if his eligibility was up, but when I watch him, like he could use a full 4 years in the weight room and everything, and be a student and let his body catch up to his game, but you know, and be on some Tayshaun Prince type of stuff. But you know, these are the things that I think. Here's the problem. Here's the solution. Acting like you don't, or trying to, you know, dim someone's light to make yourself number one, it's only inevitable that you're going to eventually suffer, because you can't stop what's the inevitable. You can't slow down a freight train. And so like the direction of where this league is heading is in a fast track to nowhere if you keep on doing this stuff. You're begging to you're begging to not fight instead of being like, no, we're here, you're there, no compete. We're gonna bridge the college game, and you should be honored if to want to come play in the pro association. But instead, it's like, oh, let's collaborate and let's play fair. They're not gonna play. They're not there to play fair. They're gonna play to keep. They got too much tradition and culture to want to mix it up like that. And so, you know, there's just certain elements that the American game provides that you can't get overseas, and it's like this, you know. It's more of an indicator you're not confident in your product, but at the end of the day, do as you feel. I'm gonna keep on keeping it real, and that's all I can do, because being pure, having pure intentions is always going to lead you to where you're best divinely meant to be. All right, utopians, I'll try to do better next time. Global out.